Something I always enjoy learning about people is the hobby that they try and recruit their friends into. There are plenty of opportunities to overdo that, of course, but I love it when someone cares deeply enough about a subject to share what they look forward to in their spare time. That hobby, for me, is Dungeons & Dragons, and rather than endlessly pestering those around me to give it a try, by creating this video, I decree that everyone, and I do mean everyone, should be playing D&D. With that being said, I understand how difficult it is for one singular game to capture an audience as large as 100% of any particular demographic, let alone an entire population. However, I think if any has a chance at this, Dungeons & Dragons fits the bill. I'm Matt from Just Mash. Let's figure it out. I want to say that I myself am relatively new to D&D. It always sort of orbited my other interests, and I saw it portrayed in other media like Stranger Things or Community. But then about 5 years ago, I learned that a college friend both knew the game well and was willing to teach me, thus sending me on the path to a mostly healthy obsession. So much about this game persists in my mind even when I'm not playing it. I know that there are others out there with a bounty of untapped creative potential. First, this is for those who would like a very basic breakdown of how the game works. As a role-playing tabletop game, the main guiding force of the story is provided by one person playing the role of Dungeon Master or Game Master. GMs provide information about a fictional world, including descriptions of visuals, non-player characters, environments, so on and so forth. The other roles, the player characters, each interact with the world created by the DM using a variety of game mechanics, some of which are dice. These dice allow for certain random uncertainty, but are mostly linked to the character's strengths and weaknesses. Essentially, an adventure is crafted through a partnership between Dungeon Master and player, using the rolls of a die to determine the outcome of certain events such as a skill resolution or combat. Every group will have varying levels of detail in their games, like miniatures or massive screens with digital maps, but all you need are a couple dice sets, paper, and your imagination. Imagination, which I know as a word itself will evoke a million different things to each one of us, is as old as humanity. Telling stories both to ourselves and our communities is written into our DNA. And I know there are plenty of adults of varying ages that do not express that sort of internal creativity as much as they did as kids, nor as much as they would like. Personally, these imaginative feelings even surpassed what I remembered as a child. This is the most potent encouragement for why you should be playing this game. It can and will kick your imagination into overdrive. Right from the very first part of the experience, building a character requires you to imagine something from scratch. Now, this isn't to say you can't take lots and lots of inspiration from existing figures. We're all products of our experience, and that includes the fictional people we watch or read about for fun. But every character creation I've seen, whether from complete newbies or seasoned D&D veterans, has something identifiably unique about them. A quality they pull from themselves or a mix of their life experience and personality. For example, you could play a character who is a budding spellcaster, separated from their teacher and trying to learn the ropes, or a sellsword deciding to give up the blade in pursuit of a cleaner conscience. There are millions of ways to create a character, with tools and tips provided by the game, and allow for each world to feel both fresh and collaborative. I have found this part of the game endlessly exciting because it moves quickly into the second half of the game as a player. Roleplay and interacting with the other created characters. This part can take some time to adjust to. It essentially blends a sort of acting and improvisation with gameplay mechanics and teamwork. But with the right group, it is so easy for the creativity to explode. With the help of the Game Master, you and your fellow party members interact with the world yours for the taking, tracking down ancient in-game artifacts, running from bounty hunters, trading tales by campfires, solving puzzles, fighting the very shadows themselves. Truly anything your team can think of can be done. As long as your imagination furnaces burn, the game continues. If this feels like an intimidating factor, I totally understand. It's a vulnerable feeling to put on a voice and behave like a different person, but in trade it offers a sense of profound freedom. Getting to step into the shoes of someone else, even just for a couple of hours, does wonders for creativity and connection to the world around you, both fictional and real. It challenges your mind to think differently, problem solve, and work with what you have at your disposal. As a new player, perhaps the most difficult but rewarding part of the game would be taking the reins as the Game Master. I won't be able to get into all the nuances of the role, but as I've referenced already, this person plays the sort of world engine for the players. Each non-player character, town, god, monster, and everything in between is controlled by the GM. They decide when to use appropriate dice rolls to determine outcomes of player actions and how the world is influenced by the character's choices. Thankfully, the publishers of the game have a wide variety of pre-built modules to get used to the system or to streamline the playing process. But the fabric of D&D allows for anyone to build an entire world from just their minds, should they so choose, offering their rules as rough guardrails. Your goal, in its purest essence, is creating a total, imaginative, and collaborative playground. However lofty that sounds, it is the potential this game provides that has me so invested. I find myself constantly daydreaming about the scenarios and opportunities of the games that I am a part of, something I never really did before playing. A party working together to uncover a story in real time will have so many opportunities for creativity. Crafting a narrative using your character's backstory, drawing maps for fictional land disputes, workshopping a voice for a villain, even imagining music for a group theme song are all spheres that connect under the D&D umbrella. Now, I do want to take a second to point out that by this point there are hundreds, if not thousands, of tabletop role-playing games that have spawned since D&D was created in the 70s. If one of those speaks to you and your circle of people more, by all means go for it. The imagination and creativity principles apply exactly the same. If I could leave you, future players, with a few points to keep in mind should you try out Dungeons & Dragons, it would be these. 1. All a game takes is 3 people. I know there will be barriers to entry for every game, but finding just 2 others, 2 players and a game master, can provide everything you need for the essential D&D experience. 2. Try going in with no expectations. Realize that what I've laid out as the game's potential might not come right away. Learning the ropes will take a bit of time. Be open to making mistakes and helping each other out. And 3. Find what works best for you. Every table is going to run a little or a lot differently as far as tone, house rules, etc. So it's important that your group finds that magic formula that everyone finds fun and comfortable. Thank you so much for watching, and if you ever wanted to hear me waxing poetic about this topic in the future, we would love to have you back. So feel free to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments your own D&D stories. I've been Matt from Just Mash. Until next time.